We are rocking a $5,000 FFPC Superflex, the Never-Too-Early Bestball tourney. I got my boys Wheeler, Eric. Let's fire this up, boys.
Go district. Bleed, I ball. Bleed, I ball. Bleed, I ball. Bleed, ball, and I bleed, I ball. Bleed, I ball. Bleed, I ball, cause I bleed, hey. Bleeding, I ball, defeated the odds, didn't see him at all. JD in the pods, I needed it all. I bleeded a lie, you bleeded a lie, not bleeded a lie. And that's what I go do. Facts, let me show you. Happen to know dudes drafting, they don't do bad and they don't lose. Make you wanna bleed. It's the Go District boys giving you the business and no gimmicks. The best ball drafts got me feeling like it's Christmas. Then it's Christmas all of a sudden, and these riches came from nothing. And I got this all from loving the district. See, I just drafted, forget it. I laughed at the critics, they mad at the digits. I clap back by listening. See, BALLiN ain't a problem if you kick it with them off. And I refresh the feed till autumn, then I bleed, go.
Happy Sunday afternoon, guys. What better way to spend it than BALLiN, man? BALLiN live, doing a best ball with a couple of boys. We're going to banter about roster builds, best balls. We'll talk a bit of that Chicago-Carolina trade. Lots to talk about today. Let me get this screen up. Kev, Wheeler, how you guys doing today? Did I lose you guys?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
My bad.
There we go.
I'm here. Doing well. I had myself on mute.
All good, man. All good. So we did one of these. Was it last? We've done a couple of these now, these BALLiN Live. So those that are new. We're doing these on the weekly. We appreciate you guys hanging with us today on a Sunday afternoon. And for those that are back, hope you enjoyed the last ones. I know we've been getting some good feedback on them. So we're going to keep them coming. How you guys, Eric, how many of these have you done so far, these 35 5Ks?
Oh, more than I wanted to, man. I'm not a big tournament guy, but, you know, I definitely did a few last year, and I want to say I'm probably up to 10 already this year, which is probably a little scary for me. But, yeah, man, they're a lot of fun, man.
All right, I'm on the clock. Kev, how you feeling about today, man?
I'm doing all right. Having the second overall pick kind of allows me to freelance for a little while, kick back, enjoy it. Like the pick is made. The pick is made for me.
This end of the pool is dirty, man.
Yeah. I was in the middle of the last time we did one of these the tournament ones.
Try something different.
I think it was. Yeah. Actually, I think I've been in the middle of the last 2 weeks.
So just for those listening, post when we drop this in the pod format, make sure you check us out on YouTube and Spotify to get the visuals. But Wheeler's in the 2 spot. He picked up Josh Allen. I am in the 8 spot. I picked up Kelsey, and right next to me is my boy Shiva, Eric in the 9 spot.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I was very stuck between Lamar and Lawrence there, man.
It's a tough decision, especially without knowing exactly what's happening with Lamar, where he ends up, does all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely a tough one. I don't mind swinging Lawrence. I've done that in a few of these actually. Swing Lawrence ahead of Lamar just because of this, not only the safety of it, but again, and I talk about an ascending offense, right? These guys took a huge step last year, and you got to think they're going to take another one, especially with Ridley joining the party.
I have Lamar ahead. Actually, I have Lamar as my QB5 still, because as soon as he signs anywhere, I feel like that's where we're going to be drafting him, QB5. And we've seen him do it before. I'm high. I like Trevor Lawrence a lot. I think Lamar is actually, as soon as he signs with anybody, he's QB4-5. He's in that debate for me.
Oh, more decisions here.
So I'll read off the
Cool.
first after I make my pick here. Shiva's
Yeah,
coming
go
up.
ahead and make your pick.
Shit.
So I don't know if you went over the first round. It started out 5 quarterbacks with Justin Fields being 5th. Justin Jefferson goes off the board at 6. Then Herbert and JD took Kelsey last time. We had the Shiva with Trevor Lawrence. Then Lamar goes. Then we see position players Jamar Chase, Christian McCaffrey, Cooper Kupp, and Austin Eckler go. I would assume we saw Deshaun Watson go next. And then the Shiva goes with, did you go with Tyreek Hill there?
Yeah, I sure did. It's tough right here. I mean,
I like the pick.
On the head, man. This is brutal.
I like the pick. It's the quarterback tier. There's probably one quarterback left in the tier, but then, Tyreek Hill I have as the wide receiver 3 over Cooper Kupp. You probably would have gone Cooper Kupp there if he had lasted, would you?
Yeah, it would have been close. I'm pretty even on both of them right now. I don't have a ton. I think I'm up to that. That'll be my 3rd Tyreek, and I think I got 2 Cooper Kupps right now. So I like them both, man. I don't think you can go wrong with either one. I really don't.
The only reason I say that is I think we talked about it last time that you were still pretty high on Kupp.
Yeah, man. I mean,
Well, I'm not super low. I just have Tyreek and Devontae Adams actually ahead of him. Like, I'm hoping Devontae gets the quarterback he wants or a quarterback he wants. If we end up with somebody disappointing at quarterback for them, Devontae would probably drop considerably, although he is relatively quarterback proof in my eyes as well.
I don't know, man.
So we've got
Stidham looked pretty good last year.
So we've got, sorry, Eric, 10 QBs off the board right now. You picked up Lamar and Watson or no, that's not even you. You picked up Trevor Lawrence. My apologies.
I did.
So you've got Lawrence and Hill. I've got Kelsey Prescott. Wheeler's coming up. He picked up Allen in the first round. We've got 6 receivers off the board as we approach the back end of the second. We've got 3 running backs and 10 quarterbacks, and I've got the only tight end in Kelsey. Trying something a little different from the A spot here. It's I think this might be my first in this range. I'd have to look back, but I'm usually in the front, I feel like, or more to the middle. And then we see 2 running backs go off again here with Dijon and Barkley, and now Wheeler's on the clock.
Well, I was just talking about him, so I might as well take him.
There, he lasted. You got to take him, right?
Yeah, I was tempting those that are listening to take him, but they didn't bite, so I might as well just snag him right up.
Devontae Adams, for those who don't have the visuals on, goes off as the wide receiver 7, and we've got 1 pick left. The 1 spot who started with Mahomes takes A.J. Brown and Mark Andrews to complete the 2-3 turn in this Superflex best ball.
Andrews is a good pick there. Now, I've been drafting this guy in my queue everywhere, and I think I need you guys to talk me out of him. So, like, here he goes. Give me a reason I shouldn't be drafting Derrick Henry at this spot.
I can't really give you one.
All right, good. Because I own a ton of them. You know, like, I see him in the second round, pretty much anywhere in the second round in non-Superflex drafts, and I can't stop taking him.
Yeah, and I think this is the big difference between Dynasty and a best ball, right?
Right.
It's like Dynasty, you're trying to get out now because he still has like a ton of value, and you probably can't even get as much for him as you could have last year. But best ball, man, it's 17 games. You need these players to produce for 17 weeks. It's hard to find a running back that can do what he can do for 17 weeks.
Heck, even if he does it for 8 weeks, he's good. Like, he's a top 5 running back for 8 weeks. Like, and then I can fill in the back end of my roster with, like, I could go 0 or, you know, solo RB. Yeah, I don't have another. I have to draft another running back until double-digit rounds right now. I mean, I probably will because I like my big running backs, but.
Oh man, there are so many decisions here.
It gets tough, eh? I'm on the clock right now at 3:08, and definitely some decisions to make.
Yeah, but it's almost like you can't really go wrong here, right? Like,
oh, I could for sure. Don't yeah. All right.
Yeah, this is tough.
no, dude, you're stressing too much. It's like there's a lot of good position players. The quarterback will come back to you if you want to wait. Like, I think you guys are in a good spot
that's
here.
What makes me nervous, man. That makes me nervous.
So after I picked Henry, Breece Hall went, Josh Jacobs, Kenneth Walker. We had Kirk Cousins that went, and the Justin Jefferson owner was able to stack Kirk Cousins, and then we have Daniel Jones. So JD goes with Garrett Wilson.
Yep.
And that's a stackable piece too, because that quarterback is gonna. Well, you're not quite sure who it is yet, but if you want to make assumptions, you probably can scoop him up a little bit later for that stack.
Kev, you're talking too much. You're talking too much here. You gotta wait.
They'll forget by then. They'll forget by then.
You gotta have those discussions after. You know what I mean?
My bad.
That's not really fair. Come on. You know better.
Sorry about that.
It's all good, man. You know me. I'm like water, brother. Like Bruce Lee says, buddy, you got to be like water. You know.
Fair enough. This is crazy. I don't know why I'm struggling today.
You got single-digit seconds left, brother.
Oh,
yeah, we're gonna go.
You're fine.
We're gonna go for the double dolphin here.
Ooh,
there it is. Can he complete?
Oh no! What are you saying, JD?
Nothing. We got. So far, all three of us have picked in the first 3 rounds. We've got Wheeler in the 2 spot with Josh Allen, Devontae Adams, Derrick Henry. I'm in the 8 spot with Kelsey, Prescott, Garrett Wilson, and the Shiva starts off with Trevor Lawrence and pairs up the Dolphin receivers and Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. So we're ending the 3rd round right now. Wheeler, you read off the first round. I'll read off the second. Cooper Kupp, Austin Eckler, Deshaun Watson, Tyreek Hill, Dak Prescott, JT, the 3rd RB off the block, Stephon Diggs, CeeDee Lamb, Bijan Robinson, Barkley, Devontae Adams, and then A.J. Brown finishes off the 2nd round. 3rd round, Mark Andrews, Derrick Henry to Kevin, Breece Hall, Josh Jacobs, Kenneth Walker, Kirk Cousins, Daniel Jones. I took Garrett Wilson. The Shiva takes Waddle. Captain Hook, I guess. Captain Cook takes ASB and T. Higgins. We're waiting on. Oh, there we go. Back to back. Tua and Murray taken by.
That's a gut punch, man. That's a gut punch.
Jimmy D. So CMC.
That's a kick in the nuts.
And then he goes Tua, Kyler Murray, and then TJ Hawk as the tight end 3 goes off in the 2nd pick as a tight end 2.
That sucks.
So Captain Hook
that's rough.
Started with Lamar, Deshaun Watson, and St. Brown. So what do you guys think so far with how we've seen? We've got 3 tight ends, we've got 9 running backs, we've got 14 QBs, and then 12 receivers off the board.
Before I get to that, JD, I'm going to play a little game here and try to snipe you, buddy. I don't know if this is who you're going for, but since I got sniped, I'm going to do it to you.
Yep, that's definitely a snipe.
I like it.
I think that's early for him.
I do too, but if what happened to me is going to happen to JD.
See, this is where I wish I had gone ASB, because then I could stack him with Goff here.
I mean, I get it's too early for him. Normally, I would go with another quarterback, but I have a lot of him already. I mean, QB 15, if he ends up with the Jets, I mean, there's a chance he could sneak into the top 12, maybe.
He could, for sure.
Or he could retire and just destroy my team. That'd be cool, too. So
he could also do that, man. He's
a nut, man. He's a nut. He's a nut.
That's about all you could say. Yeah, like he's got some screws loose. That's
man. He's an interesting dude. And you know what?
I'm not gonna.
He probably will retire, so I'm screwed.
I'm not chasing QB here. I said it earlier. I was in a DM with, I think it was Theo. We were talking best ball earlier. I don't chase positions, man. I'm not going to chase and take a lesser player. I'm taking Devontae Smith here to pair up with Garrett Wilson. We'll worry about quarterback as we get through this thing. Let me scroll up so you guys can see. Let us know in the chat. Appreciate you guys in the chat. If you prefer us in the bottom or the top. I know on the side. I mean, last week, I believe we were at the bottom, which a lot of people said they like. So maybe we'll roll that way for now.
Whatever gets me away from the line of sight, the best.
Yeah, JD, one of the things that stick out to me is Team 12 here. I mean, started off with McCaffrey Cup. That's absolutely a dynamic.
I love his team. I love the value on Kyler.
I will say this: his quarterbacks are very, very risky.
For sure. Tournament.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if it pans out for him, starting with McCaffrey and Cup and getting those guys, I mean, that could be that's a dangerous team so far.
Yep. Yeah, tournaments, right? You want to take more risks.
Yep.
I'm going to throw us back on the side here.
Are you trying to make me feel bad for my Rodgers pick?
No, not at all,
dude. Because he could retire. So
I don't know if you noticed the hat, Eric, but I wore the camo today just because I'm out here to snipe. You know.
Yeah, man, I like it.
I don't mind sniping. I don't mind getting sniped. It just makes me go a different way. I don't cry about it. It's fun, man. It's all. I'm gonna do 100 more of these where I can get Wilson and Rodgers. I'm sure in a better spot than here. So
I did want to cry when Tua went. Just
we saw that coming, man. We saw the build coming, and that's what you try to do, right? It's tough.
100%.
That's kind of what I like about the ends is I feel like you can play around with the stacks a little better, especially when the guys are close. But that's the fun of this. Sometimes I laugh because I feel like guys will take guys just because they think they're sniping me. And I wasn't even considering going that way, and then it just doesn't even, it looks really off on their roster. So I'm like, it's fine with me, man,
For sure.
So we just finished the 4th round. I'll read it off. I've done the first 3. We've got Kyler Murray, like we talked about, TJ Hawk, Chubb, Rodgers for Eric as his QB2. I took Devontae Smith. Geno Smith goes off the board next. Travis Etienne, Najee Harris, Jared Goff, Tony Pollard, DK Metcalf, and then Ramondre Stevenson goes off.
Peanut Punch is team number 1 here is off to a pretty damn good start.
Yeah, he's a profesh, bro. He's a profesh, Peanut Punch.
Yeah, and then here he goes.
It's rare that I'm in a draft without Peanut Punch,
Oh, dude, that guy he's even in every damn underdog draft too.
We should get him to come on. We should get him to come on the stream one week.
That's my buddy, man. I grew up with him, man. He's Illinois.
Hook it up, dude. Hook it up. This is why we pay you the big bucks, man.
He's a good dude, man. I know me and Wheeler are neighbors too. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, we're pretty close, I guess, aren't we? Peanut Punch is in the area too. Is he?
Not this area. He's in Illinois. That's
all right.
One raised out there.
I wasn't following him until you tagged him on a tweet earlier. I thought it had been. I see him in drafts all the time.
I love that value. I love that value, Kev, with Wilson at the 5th.
Yeah, I figured it was the last of the tier. I almost took him in the late 4th there, but I figured there's one other that I wouldn't have minded grabbing. So I figured Peanut Punch wouldn't have taken 2. I didn't even think he was going to take Russ. So
see, I would have taken Russ over Rodgers. I am way over on Russ right now anyway, but
I actually was hoping Goff would fall. But yeah, I have Goff above Rodgers, Geno, Russ.
For sure.
I have him above Tua and Kyler too. And I think I have Goff ahead of Daniel Jones as well.
I think I prefer the upside of Trey Lance to Derek Carr. That's just me.
Yes.
What JD do? He went Lance. Okay. Oh boy.
So Derek Carr does have some upside now.
Oh, I love where he landed. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. I feel like because of the bitterness in the last 2 seasons with Lance that people still have in their mouth, I think that's a lot of, because you got to think in that offense. Now that I feel like this year it'll be less like, I mean, who knows, right? It sounds like Purdy sounds like Purdy's Purdy injured, right? It doesn't seem like he's coming back anytime soon. So I feel like people are not realizing yet that Lance is going to be the starter, the guy that they, build this offense around. So I'm excited for him, especially at his price. His QB 20 right now.
Yeah, Lance was the guy I was going to take if
Eric
Peanut Butter had taken Wilson.
Eric with the Gibbs. I've got Jahmyr Gibbs. I've got so much Jahmyr Gibbs, dude. I'm glad.
Dude, I'm way over on him.
Same.
Way over, but I'm fine with it, dude. If he lands in the right spot, I think, I mean, there are some bad landing spots for him, but if that guy landed with like a Sean Payton or an Andy Reid type coach, even Sean,
an exciting player, dude.
That, my God, dude. I mean, I think he's
44 receptions, guys. Like this guy's all over the field, catching the ball, running the ball.
I see a lot of people had him comp to Jamal Charles, man, and if he's anywhere near that, I mean, Jesus, you're talking top 3 running back all day long, man.
I think Aaron Jones is another guy, considering they locked him up. I think, and you got to.
Oh, he's a big value.
You got to think they lean running game a bit more now. With a new quarterback coming in, I love Aaron Jones. This might be the first season where I really, really like him, especially at RB18.
Yeah, I agree. He's one of the best values at running back. I think J.K. Dobbins is up there too. But I love some Aaron Jones, especially in that. Even in non-superflex, you're able to get him in the 4th round, which is pretty incredible.
See, Wheeler.
I think the reason I don't have more Aaron Jones is because I do keep on taking Dobbins there, and I have plenty of Gibbs, but I've been getting him in the 6th and 7th and other formats in 1 QB league. So it's other formats though. You'll see there are smarter drafters in the FFPC. Plain and simple. So you got to get your guys. You got to get the good guys quick. You don't see a whole lot of value fall in FFPC,
especially in the tournaments too, man.
Right. Because everybody's going for upside, which is fun. I love doing tournaments because you just go balls to the wall, right?
You're trying to hit home runs, right? And what kid doesn't like to go to the batting cage and just try to hit home runs? I like that Murray Cooper pick there. I love these rounds. You were talking about earlier, Wheeler, saying you can't really. I love from 5 to 8. I feel like there's so much juice in those 3 rounds, 3-4 rounds.
For sure. I don't see a bad pick until it'll fall off a tier probably right when it's my pick. It'll fall off a drastic tier, but there's value that continues to fall, like especially at wide receiver. Jeez, I'm looking at these wide receivers I'm
about to take a big swing here.
I probably should have thought running back instead of Metcalf.
I mean, it's a tournament, man. Let's go swing for the fence.
Yeah. Oh, there's so many golden receivers here.
See, you know what I feel like doing, Wheeler?
I could see. Oh,
little bit of a payback. Little bit of a payback here for my QB3. What do you think?
Oh, did he go with the Hall of Famer?
Let me see here if I'm missing anything. First.
I'm missing something. I mean, I'm sitting here looking at receivers, so if it's not a receiver, I don't know what you're talking about.
You know what? I'll go this guy just so we could talk about it, and just because I bought him today. So I'm gonna go with my boy DJ Moore in Chicago.
Damn, that's where I thought you were going.
And I wanted to talk to you guys about this. It's the first thing on my little stickies here.
Yeah,
because we were talking about it for an hour beforehand.
So I've got Shiva and I are in a 77 team. We joined because of Shane, who actually left the league.
How about it?
Right? Yeah. But it's a fun league. There's a few fun players in there. It's a 77 buy-in on the FFPC. Guys, go check out the FFPC. You see the code and the links below. Sign up, guys. You could sign up. You get a $25 credit, and you can sign into this tournament, which is a $35 buy-in. So you're literally paying $10 to win 5,000. It's a no-brainer. If you're watching this or listening, you're not already on the FFPC, guys. Go to myffpc.com. Sign up right now. Like I say, it's the playground of Fantasyland for us degens to play in, especially this time of year. But I'm curious to get your feedback on this. I have an idea because all three of us have been in the DMs. Like I said, I've added DJ Moore to a Justin Fields contender. I paid a 24 first and a 24 second, which I'm hoping is late in this league. I love this match. I was all over, maybe not the same. It might not be the same. Maybe it is. Maybe it's better. Who knows at this point? But I was all over Diggs going to Allen. I was all over Hurts and AJ Brown. I'm loving this little marriage in Chicago. Wheeler, I'll go to you first. Or sorry,
I'm on the clock, so give me just a second.
Yeah. No, I meant the Shiva. Because I'm looking right at you on the clock. The Shiva, I'll go to you first. We're at the other end of the pool, and I know you're opinionated. So drop it, brother. How you feeling about it?
Yeah, man. Look, it's a great move for the Bears, obviously. I mean, anytime you can upgrade from what they had, Velus Jones and, Darnell Mooney's a nice player, but I mean, he's nowhere near a wide receiver one.
Where does he fit for you, Eric? Mooney in this hierarchy right now?
I think for DJ Moore, I think where he's going is good. I don't think it changed much.
No, I mean Mooney, because you talked about Mooney. I'm curious where you fit, because we were talking about this in one of my high stakes DMs, saying Mooney is what? Because they paid for Claypool, right? Second round pick, if I'm not forgotten.
I think Mooney's better than Claypool. I think I don't want to name off the players right now to where I think he's going, but I think it hurts Mooney because listen, until we see the Bears have a high flying offense or a passing offense, it's tough to project them being a passing offense. I mean, this franchise in the history, and John Lobb said this on your podcast about 4 years ago, in the history of their franchise, they've never had a 4,000-yard passer, ever. That's mind-blowing. I know the players are different, the coaching staff's different, I get all of that, but this team just never seems to have a high-powered, they want to offense, they want to run the ball, they want to play good defense. Maybe it'll change now with DJ Moore and Justin Fields. They got Mooney and Claypool. Until I see it, I'm not buying it. I think DJ Moore is at a good place. I don't think it increases value. I don't think it decreases value. Mooney, I think obviously it hurt. If he were to ever do something, it would have been last year, in my opinion, when there was no other wide receivers on that team. He should have been force-fed 160, 170 targets, and he had a chance to kind of cement himself. And I mean, it just didn't happen. So, I mean, that's my take. I know Chicago fans love DJ Moore, and he's, if they think he's going to be a wide receiver one, top 12, I think they're sadly mistaken.
I mean, I don't see any reason why DJ Moore is going to be Chicago's wide receiver one, right? But you're going to see him line up everywhere. He's going to get pelted with targets. Mooney's going to be the deep threat.
Not only targets. Our boy Theo, I'll find the tweet later, but Kev, just to add, he ran the ball with Cam Akers, right?
Yes.
He had 152 yards rushing or something.
No, that was his appeal coming in as well. He ran at the University of Maryland as well.
So real quick, is DJ Moore better on the Bears, or would he be better off on Carolina with CJ Stroud force feeding him the ball? And that's a question that I struggle with in my head. You know what I mean?
So here's the thing. With DJ Moore, you have to literally add 100 targets to Chicago's offense. I understand that a lot of guys doing projections are looking at giving him a 25% target share and bumping up the Chicago offense, a little bit as far as how many plays they run. But I think DJ Moore adds an element to Chicago that isn't there. If targets are earned, he's going to take 100 targets and add it to that offense. He's going to get first downs. They're going to have more offensive drives. They're not going to be in third down as much just because they have DJ Moore there.
Wheeler, I have 25 seconds to ask you this question. Have you ever ordered 2-for-1 pizza?
Probably. I'm sure. I went to college.
I'm about to 2-for-1 right now. Probably my favorite value in Superflex drafts, and I'm about to snipe my boy Eric with this pick right here. I know it's gonna hurt. I know it's gonna hurt, Eric. Try to grasp yourself.
I like it.
I like the pick.
Jordan Love as my favorite QB3, especially in these Superflex drafts.
Yeah, I've been scooping him up. Late.
Damn. All right.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
That is a good pick.
Is that where you were going?
I feel like
on the way back, you probably would have gotten them.
Let me ask you guys this, and Eric, after you make your pick.
I'm going another wide receiver here. Go ahead, JD.
No, I was going to ask you this.
That's a good pick. That's where I thought you were going, actually.
That's a nice pick. Let's say I took Watson instead of DJ Moore.
Yep.
Does Love make it back to me here?
Yeah.
Probably. So? It's tough. I think so.
Okay. Yeah, I wish I had done that, but again,
but you could. Watson was gone before you got DJ.
Yeah, Watson got picked before.
I'm looking at the other. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. My apologies. Yeah, you're right. It's going.
But I thought you were going to go Christian Kirk to block his stack with T-Law.
I didn't even see that. I would have totally done that. But either way, it's a stack.
That went through my head. I'm like, shit. But I did have Love in my queue.
Yeah. Either way, he's getting a stack done there.
Yeah, I saw Eric going Kirk and then Love on the way back, but
yeah. Get the double.
But he would have actually grabbing Love first would have been optimal just because Sunday Sampler there doesn't have a quarterback.
I've only got one rifle, Kev. I can't snipe him with one pick. I know I went down to 2-for-1, but
I thought you were going to go with Kirk. I almost drafted Kirk on the turn prior.
Yeah, and see, like, this is my thing. Like, I mean, like when Keenan Allen at wide receiver 21. I think that.
It's
price, man. Like that's solely based on age. I feel like.
Yeah. Well, I think that's like I have Keenan. I would rather have a couple of receivers that went after him. Like before I draft Keenan, I would take London. I took Jameson Williams. I've reached. I'm following Jameson Williams up. I was getting him at a value at one point, and now I just keep grabbing him. I keep reaching for him. Like, I think he's just going to beast out this year. I need to stop. I need to back off. But and then I just grabbed Jerry Jeudy for the stack. I did pass up on Godwin. I would have liked Kirk. But I have all of those that I just mentioned ahead of Keenan. Like, wow. The age cliff is real. It's there. I could see Keenan having a great start to the season, but he fades. That's just how I see it. That's how I'm reading it. If he were to drop to, say,
he's being drafted as like almost a back end wide receiver 2, like that.
Yeah. I would be drafting him as my wide receiver 3. I don't think I would want him as a wide receiver 2.
Who's that?
That's Keenan Allen.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. I don't think you can depend on him as a even that's kind of iffy.
And I'm not saying you're wrong, Eric. Like that's my feel for it.
Yeah, no, it's that we need that upside, right?
And last time we were talking a little bit about Mike Evans. Mike Evans grabs me more than Keenan Allen does. Like, I understand he's fallen off a great deal, but I also think that had a little bit to do with, like, Brady has never liked targeting that outside receiver. I mean, he did when he had Moss, of course, and he has with Evans, but it's almost a stretch for him, right? Like, Brady is a slot and tight end dump down kind of guy. And not that Evans, we have no idea if it's going to be Kyle Trask or who it's going to be, but as long as Mike Evans is on the field, I have to feel as though he's going to be fed to 1,000 yards. And when you get near the end zone, you're going to target Mike Evans. So I think he's a little bit undervalued, although there's justification for everybody going before him as well.
Decisions.
Yeah, I struggled with that one.
Yeah.
I like Cam. I like Cam.
I don't know.
I think
he makes me nervous.
I think he's about
like in a tournament.
But
I would have taken somebody else there in a tournament or in a non-tournament.
Understandable.
But like in a tournament, like shoot for the. I'm gonna shoot for the moon because if he hits at his,
he was absolutely next in my queue. I think it's a solid pick there.
If he hits at that price point, like that's a potential league winner. You know what I mean? If he's able to finish as an RB1 or something like that, that's enough.
I mean, you got him at RB22.
Yeah.
He could easily be RB9, 10, 11.
I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker for stacks, guys. I'm a sucker for stacks.
Oh, I love
it. Not bad, though. I like Ayuk, dude.
Oh, that's
I love Ayuk as my wide receiver 4. You know what I mean?
I mean, when you're getting them in the 8th round and suckers are drafting Debo. Oh no, he went in the 5th. Man, I've made it since our last draft. I've made it my mission to lay off Debo, and he's going a lot later. Like
he was going like 3rd round, right?
Yeah, because of me.
I mean, one of the things, like, I know we're in this
layoff,
and we all want upside, right? We all want these 40-point weeks. In reality, that doesn't happen a lot. And one of the things about Brandon Ayuk is he is basically never a zero. He's always giving you something. And I know floors aren't going to win in a tournament with 1,400 plus teams, but when you got a guy that can consistently just give you 10, 12, 13 points in combination with, the 4 or 5 bigger games where he gets 18, 25, something like that, that's huge as opposed to a guy that's giving you a 0 and then popping for 30. You know what I mean? I mean, that's how I look at it.
I'm with you.
And I mean, look, let's not forget this guy's only 3 seasons deep, right? He's going in his 4th season, and I mean, last year he gave us 8? He gave us 3 wide receiver 1 weeks, which in that offense, the way they spread the ball is pretty nice. Couple wide receiver 2 weeks.
Sorry. The way you look at it, JD, is since he's been in the league, he's never finished worse overall than a wide receiver 35. Like that's his floor. You just drafted him at his floor. Yeah. His ceiling.
And that's what you want to do. That's what you want to do, especially in these tournaments.
And last year he finished wide receiver 15. So I mean, there's a lot of room, for him to hit that again or come close to that, or even if he finishes at a wide receiver 20, back end wide receiver 2, he's still smashing where he's going. And again, he never really gives you a 0. He's always giving you
points per game. He actually gave us a wide receiver 18 season as a rookie, and then last year he was wide receiver 23. So still a wide receiver 2, but again, like you said, I'm getting him at wide receiver 33. It's a nice value. So look out again. The San Fran and the Green Bay stacks I find are sneaky.
There's a lot of them. I feel like there's a lot of them. And look at Wheeler again, dude, with Connor.
That's exactly who I was deciding between. I was deciding between Connor and Ayuk. I literally had those 2 guys, and I'm like, do I want to take my first QB? But because I have Lance, I'm like, you know what? I'll strengthen his strength, and I'll worry about running back. But I love James Conner, dude. He's going after Tyler Algier.
Oh, it's
what
terrible.
the hell?
Criminal. It's criminal. And Wheeler, when I said I was going to take a safer player over Akers, it was going to be Connor. I didn't want to mention his name, obviously.
Especially with Kyler being injured, you got to think they're going to lean again on James Conner, man. I'm trying to see what he finished as he finished as the RB9 last year. He was the RB7 the year prior points per game.
Me and Peanut Punch, we're in we split a 250 last year. We ended up taking 3rd in it, but we had running back problems throughout the entire season. We had a lot of injuries, but thankfully, when James Conner started to smash towards the end of the season, we had him, and it literally took us from 7th place midway through the season, or from week 12 on, and it got us back into that money where we got our buy-in back. And I feel like if we would have had him healthy for the full season, Peanut Punch and I had a really good chance to win that league. But I mean, he was money, and he was a value last year, and he's even more of a value this year.
Yeah, you guys talk about Connor so much, I couldn't not take him there.
And here's another guy, James Cook, too, man.
I love James Cook right now. I was hoping he might. He's the other guy I was considering in that last pick. I was hoping he might sneak back to me there.
Yeah, there's a couple guys I was considering. I definitely needed a running back, and James Conner was a value there. Komet, to me, is a stretch, but
look at
he's the last of the tight ends I'm sure about.
Peanut Punch backdoor Pickett and Pickens, man. You guys see that?
Ah, nice.
Yeah, I love the later stacks that you can sneak in where nobody's paying attention. I love those. Like last year it was like Fields with like Komet. You tried it with Mooney, Yeah,
Fields Komet was one I used a great deal last year.
Guys, look at curious to get your thoughts on Team 4 here. 9
read it off. Read it off, Eric. Read it off while I make my
No
pick. Wonder.
Actually,
Snipe.
The pick as well.
Eric, you go ahead and pick. Team 4 is going 0 wide receiver at this point with Burrow, Bijan, Josh Jacobs, Jared Goff, Dobbins, Schultz, Ingram at tight end, Algier, and Cook. He has no wide receivers whatsoever. I actually want to try something like that, not to this extreme. This is little
but these tournaments,
bizarre,
like that's where you want to try it. Like these tournaments are fun to try. That's kind of what I like about the tournament is it gives you more options. You can be a little funkier. Whereas when you're playing in a 12-man league, you don't need to go so far. You're basically trying to be chalk, to be honest, in a lot of those.
I can agree with that, but so up to a point, I would have skipped Schultz. I would have skipped Algier. I don't mind what he's doing. I just don't
It's very unique. And if he hits on the wide receivers late, though, I mean.
And there are plenty of wide receivers late that could just go off. And I like this kind of structurally. I'm not saying he needs a wide receiver in those spots. I'm just saying, it seems as though he's trying too hard not to. I think it was the 6th round where I was just standing there saying, holy cow, I'm just looking at these wide receivers, and it was nothing but wide receivers. They were the value. So, and the obvious value. I don't like Schultz to begin with this year, and I could see a different tight end. Nah.
I mean, he took Schultz over Ingram too, which I feel like should be flip-flopped.
Right.
In my opinion. But I mean, he's got a very interesting. And
I tell you what, if he goes all wide receiver from here on out, there's a value at every single one of those wide receiver positions.
Exactly
without a doubt.
So he's in a lot of the FFPC live drafts at night. So at 7 p.m. Eastern and 10 p.m. Eastern, he's in a ton of them, or he or she, they, I should say, are in a ton of them. And, he's definitely a tough cookie. He knows what he's doing. I've seen him finish first in several leagues that I've been in. So, it's interesting and it's unique, right? That's what you need in a tournament like this. I feel like it's something
absolutely.
And then JD with the nut punch on the
on the what?
Oh, I got hit again. Oh my god.
Oh, you love that Tannehill right there, huh?
Oh.
Were you hoping Tannehill or Howell comes back there?
Oh, I wanted Tannehill so bad.
Yeah, Tannehill's good value, man. Especially with Burks, right? You picked up Burks.
Well, that sucks.
So Tannehill's got to be Tennessee's starting quarterback this year, right?
Well, yeah, and I had Burks too, so it would have been a bad
I just think they have the.
Nice.
I just feel like they have the kid on a short leash. You know what I mean? They might give it to the kid to start just for his confidence, but I feel like he's probably on a short leash just because the team's good. Like other than quarterback, like the team's pretty good as a team. Like defensively, you know, they win games, man. They get to the playoffs.
Absolutely.
So
I think you go to the kid only if he's ready. Like they're paying Tannehill something like $36 million or something this year.
There's
like
no
in
way
the
in the league
dead
plays
cap.
money.
all right, who do you guys think I'm taking here? Who do you guys think I'm taking? I'll give you guys one guess.
Running back.
Yeah, for sure.
Khalil, the real deal.
Hey,
Herbert.
Bear.
Let's
Yeah,
rock.
he's the man.
Let's rock.
Wow.
Oh yeah, the DJ Moore Khalil stack is live.
I love those backs, and I really wanted AJ Dillon instead of Treylon Burks. I feel like he would have fit my team
Jordan
very
Love
nicely.
be dropping those short passes to Dillon out of the
Yep.
backfield.
Well,
Absolutely.
dude, we talked about it last time. Like guys like Dillon, Herbert, you know, guys that have what I call standalone value, where they're typically not going to be zeros. They're 1Bs in a backfield, but they got a lot of potential.
They still have
to
league-winning
outperform
upside.
ABC.
Exactly.
Yeah, if one thing breaks their way, you know, they're easily top 12.
Yeah, they're good. They have their own value, but they have that RB1 in their range of outcomes.
Joe Mixon, guys, as the
Yeah,
RB31
well, I was
in
just
the
gonna say that.
10th round.
RB31.
I mean, he was going
That's
in the
legal
top
trouble,
two.
man.
Yeah, I know, but it's crazy when you think about
Yeah.
a month ago when you're guys are drafting him in the second. I wasn't even touching him in those rounds.
Well, I
but
think
like
he
second,
was
third round.
cleared. Well, I know he got in trouble twice. One of them was the recent one. I think he was cleared of that. It was his sister that was involved. But then the other one with the, I don't even know what happened. It was he pulled a gun on somebody or something.
Yeah.
So who knows? And look at Jahan Dotson here. I thought is a great pick too. I like him a lot.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah, that's
Guys-
the value there.
Oh my God, he did it again. He went hunt.
Wow, he's going RB. So those not watching right now that are listening, the 4th spot started Joe Burrow, and then Goff in the 4th. Otherwise, he's just got green down the board and a bit of purple. So Bijan Robinson in the 2nd, Jacobs in the 3rd. He goes J.K. Dobbins in the 5th. He goes back-to-back tight ends in Schultz, which is questionable, and then Ingram. Then you've got Algier, James Cook, and Kareem Hunt in the 10th round. So a very unique build. We'll see how he fills up the receiver
I would like
position.
I'd like to trade Treylon Burks for J.K. Dobbins if he's willing to do that. FFPC, maybe do a little switcheroonie here.
Imagine they let you do like 3 trades, like something like that. You get like 3 trades per best ball or something, 1 trade.
Yeah, I'm very concerned about my running back room right now, man. This is not
with
good.
Jahmyr Gibbs and Cam Akers.
So to me, this is a tournament pick with Charbonnet there. There's another running. I was debating between him and another running back, but I also feel like there's only one quarterback left that. Well, no, he may not even be starting. I like this running back too much.
Yep, he was in my queue. We talked about him last before we went on the last pod. I'm not going to have any running backs. It appears in this draft.
And that, like, I had both Charbonnet and Gainwell over Hunt. Like, that's my problem with the way he's drafting. Like, I don't care about the way he's drafting. I just don't think he's getting either players at a value or the best players on the board. Like,
yeah, it's fine if you're in
and Ritter is the quarterback I was thinking about, but
it's fine if you're like in those start 3 receiver, underdog
Ritter.
drafters, and then maybe the value is at running back as they drop, because everybody's taking those receivers even before they should. But here, that's not necessarily the case because it's super flex, it's tight end premium. The running backs are about where they belong, right? So it's not like like you said, it's not like he's getting value. And then he picks up Ritter as his QB3.
Yeah, I was going to say, what round?
I was going to do that. That was not my debate. If Ritter is the starting quarterback for Atlanta, the man's going to run. He's going to run for his life. And it is a quarterback 3, but who's to say that they don't pick up a free agent or draft somebody and give Ritter a short leash. That's my problem with Ritter, is that it's going to be a short leash.
Yeah.
I'm gonna actually take my. Yeah, you know what? I actually I don't hate this at all here. I'm gonna take my tight end 2 in Gesicki. Yeah, I like it here. I mean, just looking at talent and the fact that he's probably going to end up somewhere this season where he's wanted, which is always important, where he's needed. I think he's a nice value in a tight end premium as a tight end 16. I mean, it's probably where he belongs. I'm not going to say like, oh, wow, amazing pick. Like, great pick there, JD. I just mean for the talent and the fact that there's a really good, I don't know. I like taking the guys with uncertainty because I feel like there's room for them to fly up the boards. You know what I mean? He ends up like in Dallas or something.
Yeah, there's immense upside there, and depending on who he signs with, like
he could go to shits, right? He could totally end up in like Baltimore or something, but
I doubt that. Like,
exactly.
Look at the teams that would probably be looking for a tight end. You're talking about Dallas.
Like
you're talking
Green
about
Bay.
The Chargers. Green Bay's got other issues. I would think Gesicki is looking at Dallas or the Chargers.
Oh, I like the Chargers. Yeah,
Well, the Chargers got Everett.
I don't think they're going to stick with him.
He's not re-signed though. He's
free agent.
Free agent. Yeah.
No, he's under. He's a cut candidate, but excuse me. He is under contract as of.
All right.
But they can cut him and I think save a bunch of money. I can't remember how much it was. But
Then that's it. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking he's a cut candidate. But would they spend the money on Gesicki instead of Everett? It's toss up.
And would Dallas rather spend the money on Zeke or Gesicki? They'll choose Zeke. So that's out of the question.
I mean, I think they're stuck with Zeke. But I thought they had cap space to do that.
All right. Haymaker. You got Mike Tyson coming out of the woods here. I need it with my running back room.
A-Chain. I like that. Or Ashane, if you prefer.
Yeah, I like the French version. Ashane.
Yeah, so do I. It's supposed to be A-Chain, but yeah, Ashane. If he has a problem, with Ashane, he's probably listening. Say something in the chat.
Yeah, for sure. And I have you on a lot of fantasy teams too. So if you're listening, do your thing, man.
Yeah, man.
So.
I'm like in the 12th round. I like Antonio Gibson, man, with DJ.
Absolutely.
DJ Gibson probably retiring as an RB3. Where I waited till the 8th round to get my RB1. I love Gibson here. Love
that pick. Great pick.
And Bieniemy now in Washington's got to add a little flair to that offense, right? And Antonio Gibson's a perfect piece to join the fun.
He was.
Yeah, I probably could have taken him over Ashane, but
6 of this, half the other. I think
Gibson.
I think both of those are better than Brian Robinson,
and better than Foreman, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. Foreman, I won't touch Foreman unless he drops to like the 18th round.
Yeah, I'm with you. Minimum.
I mean, I don't think he's bad. I just don't think he's good for fantasy, and I don't think he's going to have the opportunity, let's say, over a free agent Miles Sanders, or like I just.
Or he'll be splitting in a bad offense in Carolina with Chuba.
At best, right?
That's not a great situation.
Who took McBride? Bastard.
Yeah, he's a good pick too.
I love that guy. I have him like. I got to go back and look, but McBride could be around like 70%.
Right. We got Team 4 with his first wide receiver here, Brandon Cooks, and you know what? He could like Wheeler said a couple rounds ago. Damn near every wide receiver getting drafted from this point on is a value. And if Brandon Cooks gets out of Houston, he can easily finish higher than wide receiver 48, in my opinion.
Yeah, he totally sniped me on that. I wanted Cooks.
Yeah,
I love the way he drops at that value.
Dude, if he ends up in Dallas or something as the wide receiver 2, or maybe he goes to Buffalo or just somewhere decent. I don't see him finishing where he's being drafted if he gets out of Houston.
All right, this is a total tournament pick. It's a Taysom.
Yep.
And it's probably early, but
you know what scares
Cooks
me
and
about him?
Cooks and McBride going through me, so
You know what
scrambling.
Yeah, but Carr might lean on to Hill, man. You never know, right?
No, right. But I'm saying, like, his position could change in FFPC, and that's what scares me about it. I had him last year early in draft.
Oh yeah,
and they switched him from a quarterback to a tight end.
So you got to take that into consideration with your roster build, right? Like, it's
I forgot.
Flex,
Yep.
but just maybe you get an extra tight end or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is good super flex. Like, I would much rather him a tight end, and in other formats they don't change it, but FFPC has been known to, like, come July switch his position.
100%. They did it with
Yeah.
I can't remember the dude's name, but
and
I think it was from Kentucky.
yeah,
I don't remember his name. He went to the Dolphins, I think.
they've done it a couple times,
Yeah.
and I know who you're talking about because he was my sleeper of the year, and he ended up being a bust. So I was whining about nothing. But Juwan Johnson is a nice pick too. They just re-signed him. I bet. Yeah.
And he took Fournette, dude.
He probably thinks he sniped you there. He probably, because that's not a bad pair, especially if they do change. You have Hill and Johnson.
Right.
Either they're a solid tight end too, or you're getting a quarterback and a tight end before the season starts.
Yeah.
I like Fournette.
So Fournette off the board in the 13th round. I'm not reading the every round anymore, guys. Like I said, check us out on YouTube and on Spotify. You can watch the shows. I might skim through a couple rounds just if we see something different, but we'll try to keep you guys up to date as much as we can on our rosters and, some good picks and values that we're seeing. So Kevin takes Taysom Hill in the 12th and comes back with Sky Moore as the wide receiver 50 off the board. Yeah.
It was right after Juju. I was debating between Sky Moore and a couple others. Sky, the upside is there, right? There, the imaginary upside possibly. There's a couple other receivers there that I was looking at that are safer bets. But Elijah Moore was one of them. Well, and that's the thing.
I had Rodgers too.
I love Elijah Moore's value, guys. With Rodgers most likely being there, if I could have paired him with Garrett Wilson there, that would have been sweet.
Dude, Elijah Moore's good, man. He's good.
He's good, but they don't like him.
I know.
Hold on though. They didn't like him before Rodgers. Now they like whoever Rodgers likes.
Right.
Rodgers gets on the practice field,
but
he sees Elijah Moore flying down the field and just grabbing everything he throws at him. He's his new best friend.
Rodgers already has talked one receiver on that team up. Well, then I'm going to keep my mouth shut because he hasn't been taken yet.
Scrolling down.
So the reason I passed up on Elijah is like, you know what? If he's young and cocky, Rodgers doesn't like young and cocky.
I don't think he's young and cocky, man. I don't.
I'm not saying he is, but that's how it came off last year, right? Like, isn't that's the team's perception of him? If that happens to be right, like, I like Elijah Moore a lot. Like, I got him on a few dynasty teams, but I don't know. I took my dice roll on Sky this time. I have been scooping Elijah up in a lot of more self-contained drafts, but sky's the limit.
I
had to say that. Had to go there.
I'm deciding.
So what's
here.
JD's
going?
I
don't know if I want to snipe.
You could go running back or receiver here. You went real zero RB.
Quarterback.
JD with.
I'm gonna go Elijah Moore. I like the value.
Mitchell.
Or sorry,
Elijah Moore. Elijah Mitchell. We're just talking about it more. Elijah Mitchell. I talk about it often, especially in Superflex. I love pairing my running backs with my quarterbacks. I love it. I did really well with it last year. And if I can make it happen, you see AJ Dillon, I paired up with Jordan Love. I've got Mitchell with Trey Lance. Last year I had Rodgers and Jones, did really well with me for me. That's who I was contemplating. I was going to snipe Zay Jones off of Eric. But I worry, the only thing I worry about Zay Jones, as much as I'm not a big Ridley guy, like I appreciate that he's going to come back. He's shown us really good, wide receiver one season. I worry about the year off and all that, and Christian Kirk. I just wonder if he takes away some of Zay Jones' targets. I wonder what you guys think about that.
Yeah, so I would say if he does take away target, like Calvin Ridley to me isn't a downfield type of wide receiver, and I don't really think Zay Jones is either, but he was kind of used like that last year. Like Christian Kirk was kind of operating, over the middle of the field, and I think Ridley's going to do the same. And I think Marvin Jones will be gone from there. Obviously, they could add somebody again and just keep giving Trevor Lawrence more weapons, but Zay Jones had a couple monster weeks, and he did it, stretching the field and catching some of these longer passes. So, he's not Deshaun Jackson, but I don't think Ridley would take away some of the deep targets that Zay Jones would get. My own opinion.
I can agree with that. Like, I think, yes, some of Jones's upside is slightly capped, but where he's going, like, he's a value without a doubt.
And I think the thing JD said earlier is targeting good offenses. Like, you could do a lot worse than targeting.
I mean, especially, you're stacking a good offense. Having Zay Jones and Christian Kirk, like,
right.
Ridley isn't getting all the targets. Like, you're doing well there.
We got to remember, Trevor Lawrence,
and Zay Jones is good. Like,
yeah, and Trevor Lawrence has a really good rapport with Kirk and with Zay Jones. They're going into year 2 together, and then here comes Ridley, who I do think will be involved, but chemistry is a real thing, and I think Zay Jones and Christian Kirk have that right now with Lawrence.
Yeah, so like what you're probably going to end up seeing is Ridley heavily used in the first half of games, or like they have a game plan to get him involved, but when it comes to crunch time, he's going to rely on those guys he's dealt to before for at least like the first half of the season. After they build a rapport, you'll see it all mixed together. But Ridley will certainly be targeted heavily that first half of the season, or in first halves of games, but you got me. They're probably going to be in a lot of close ones. So, yeah, I'd say Jones, very talented receiver, undervalued because he kind of went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs his first or second year.
Yeah, over there in Buffalo, I was just going to say that.
Yeah, but he seems to have bounced back and found himself a nice little home there. So, he's in the 13th round.
He really had a nice year last year. He had definitely some down weeks, but when he went boom, he went boom.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that.
Yeah, double digits, right? You expect these guys they're filling holes, right? At this point, you're filling the blanks, you're filling the holes, you're trying to build on your roster, your specific roster. Bring depth where you need depth, stack if you can. Right now, so I've got. Where are we? We're in the 14th round. You've got Wan'Dale Robinson, Josh Palmer as the wide receiver 60 off the board. The Shiva is up next. Chuba Hubbard goes off as the RB 46.
I don't really like anybody on the board right here.
I like Chuba.
And I usually punt tight ends. I've had a lot of success doing that. Even though that's not optimal on tight end premium, but I don't really... For me personally, I don't like anybody on the board right here, so I'm going to take a swing at Gerald Everett, who right now is on the Chargers, and I think he's in a good spot. He went, I don't know what tight end, tight end 20, 21 off the board, and last year he finished well above that. Granted, there was a lot of injuries to, Keenan and Mike Williams and all that, but he still did it. So that's working in his favor.
I like his talent.
Yeah.
I wish. He's hyper athletic. He's talented. For some reason, I think his
premium. It doesn't take much.
Oh yeah, and tight end 21. That's absolute value for sure.
And I would have avoided him. I just didn't
like.
I didn't like it. For me, I didn't. There wasn't anybody that was standing out to me.
There definitely isn't any standout tight ends from here, and Everett does.
I don't hate Everett at this price. Yeah, I don't hate him at this price. Tight end 21 and a tight end premium. I mean, whether he stays in Charger land, which I don't know that he does, or he goes somewhere else. You always think like these type of tight ends, they're bringing them in because they feel like they're going to fit their scheme. They're gonna target these guys. So Higbee and Everett, I find, are very similar, and you see them both go off a couple picks apart. I took KJ Osborne. I love the fact that he got re-signed in Minnesota. He could easily be the second target. We don't know if Cook comes back. You've got TJ Hawk there, obviously, that he's competing with, and JJ. So he's probably the 3, but a pretty solid 3 in an offense that you think is ascending. Second year in that scheme with that coaching staff. So I do really like KJ Osborne value in this range. It was either him or Palmer, and Palmer went off the board a couple of picks prior.
Osborne was next in my queue for sure.
Yeah, I was all over Osborne last year. It wasn't bad either, but he was going a little bit later than he was this year for sure. Now,
he gave you a wide receiver too. Towards the end of the year.
Even with the recent news of Thielen going bye-bye.
And Thielen gone. That's another great valid point. Yeah, against Indy, he put up 10 receptions, 157 yards.
Well, he was good as a rookie. He was very good as a rookie.
Yes,
that was 2 years ago. I mean,
especially for a 5th rounder,
Yeah, and I mean, again, it's another offense that's going to throw it a lot. And it's hard to go wrong that way.
Like he got 82 targets in 21, and then 90 last year.
Yep.
So even if he gets above the 100 mark, I think in this range, he's giving you good value.
Or even if he stays the same.
Or if he stays the same.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And then look, here's another guy, doesn't have a huge ceiling, but just rock solid in Tyler Boyd, wide receiver 62.
Yes.
I mean, that's another undervalued. And there goes Roshan. Who took the Wheeler, of course.
Yeah, Wheeler, of course, took him. I was thinking about that.
Yeah.
I love the Alec Pierce pick too. I was looking at Pierce and Madison coming back the other way.
Yeah, Madison was next in my queue. I got sniped there, so I figured Alec Pierce was next, and I'm like, JD will like this one. And then the Roshan, I was just thinking back to our last draft where he went in the 11th. I know this is super flex, but like at this point, 15th seems like a value for Roshan.
I mean, you got nothing to lose, especially if you have a running back core, on your roster already. If he doesn't hit, it's not going to destroy you. Right. And if he does hit, it can only help,
Yep.
I mean, that's how I look at those kind of situations here.
Yeah, I think he fits into my roster pretty nicely there. And with what's left...
So we're in the middle of the 15th right now, guys. If you like what you're watching, you like what you're hearing, make sure you subscribe, smash the like, give us a nice little review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to us. We appreciate the support. We're here on a weekly basis, at least, to do the BALLiN, and check out the other shows on the channel, man. We've got, we've got the best guests. We always load it up with the guests to bring you guys the best knowledge. We had recently Andrew Cooper, the tight end guru from Fantasy Alarm, this week was on the show. We did his top 5 freakishly awesome tight ends, rookie tight ends, which you'll be surprised by his top 5 list. And especially if you play FFPC, guys, tight end premium, you want to be on top of it. And we talked a lot of the free agency action that's coming up. So the guy I like second to Roshan is Tajay Spears. Yeah. So I'm going to take him. I love getting an upside rookie as my RB5, especially in round 15.
Tell me about Spears.
So Spears gave you 1,500 yards, 21 touchdowns, 14 games last year, 229 touches. So he's got the 3-down ability, 22 receptions. Just just a fun, yeah, man, just a fun player, especially like I said, like where he's going, RB51, and I can't wait to see where he ends up in the draft, the NFL draft this year. He's 5'10", 200 pounds, so decent build as a running back, and college dominator, 31%. I mean, it's all right. He's 21 out of Tulane.
Out of Tulane.
Mm-hmm.
He's on my.
He's very. I'm not a film guy at all, so don't listen to anything I say about that. But he does appear to be very shifty in everything that I've seen from the people that are the film guys. I mean,
he looks like a sneaky 3-down back to me.
Yeah, dude, he looks good, man. There's no question about that. And again, I think
how much
with all these rookie running backs, it's going to be such a landing spot dependent.
100% opportunity, right? Opportunity is like one of the most.
You just hope for him, because I do like him. If he ended up on the Saints or something like that, with Kamara dealing with whatever he's got going on, I mean, that would be a smash spot. I feel like, in a really good landing spot for any one of those rookies. But I'm with you. I love Spears a lot.
So what did you have his weight at, JD?
He's showing on Player Profiler. He's at 201. I don't know if that's changed or.
No, I'm sure they're right. I had my dynasty ranks pre-combine, and pre-combine he was listed somewhere at 195. So which
is good, right? He's putting on some weight,
right?
Hopefully,
right.
He keeps some of that shiftiness and that burst. Mostly the burst. His burst score 91 percentile, 91st percentile. Like you said, he's shifty, and you know what it is with him is if he finds the hole, he's got that big playability, right? So
so just RotoViz also has him at 201.
Okay, and that's the difference between pre-combine. Just the team had him listed at 195 or whatever.
Yeah, this is I believe for RotoViz, this is combine.
When the combine was happening, we were mid-draft, so I need to get caught up on all of that.
Yeah, I mean, that dude had 229 rushes for 1,500 yards and 19 touchdowns, man. I mean, that is no joke.
Come on.
So
I definitely had him in my top 10 rookie running backs, but I definitely need to take a closer look at that after we have some weights in.
Damian Harris as the RB53 in the 16th round. I mean, I just feel, especially you see guys he's going after, I feel like he's really nice value. Again, whether he stays in New England or goes somewhere else, you got to think this guy's going to score touchdowns and just be given the rock, especially on those early down.
Yeah, I should have him on the radar more too. I don't think I have any Damian Harris, but I don't see how a guy like Deontay Foreman is going before Damian Harris.
Especially 5 rounds or whatever.
Yeah.
John Mechie, I like that pick.
Yeah,
I think we talked about him last week.
Last time.
Yeah, he's a nice late round guy.
Yeah, I hope the best. I think everybody's a Mechie fan, right? We just hope for the best for him too. He's definitely got the talent. We just hope he comes back from that. Was it leukemia? I think.
What do you guys think of guys like Kyle Trask? I find, and Baker Mayfield can be interesting guys in these Superflex tournaments. You know, like as late quarterbacks, like QB 34, 35. We're hearing that Mayfield. I mean, you'd like to see him back with McVay, but I don't know that that's necessarily where he ends up. Man, I was hoping that. See, it's nice when the guys that you have in your queue come back to you, but you hope that it narrows it down for you, and then you don't have a decision to make. But when all 3 guys come back, it's like, seriously?
Very well know that feeling. Very well. Yeah, it's either one or the other, right? Either they all 3 go, or you still have a decision to make. You're hoping it gets narrowed down, but
this is a tough one too.
What position do you
I'm
need?
gonna make this.
I think
I'm looking at receivers. I'm deciding between 2 receivers for my stacks. I think I know which one you prefer. I don't know which one's going first, and I don't have time.
Right.
So I'm gonna go with the first QB off the board. I'm gonna take Gallup here, just because I don't really have any stacks for Dak.
Right.
So I don't hate it here. There was another guy I was considering here who probably won't make it back to me, so I might as well talk about him. But Dubs was
I didn't
the
even
other guy
realize
that I
you
liked
had
here.
that. Yep. Nice.
Dubs isn't really on my radar unless I
Like the problem with Dubs is what's the best is
unless I have Love. Like if I have Love, I'm targeting Dubs or vice versa. But
the problem with Dubs is he's never going to be necessarily like a wide receiver 2 for, you know what I mean? Like he's like the third, fourth option in that offense at best.
Like Gallup has the potential to be 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns.
I remember you going on about him last week. I think it was last week or the week before.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I was like, you know what?
Really, you don't think they're gonna? What if they add somebody?
They could,
like
but presently they don't.
They added Tolbert, and that didn't add too much.
And you know what?
Oh, dude, you want to talk about somebody derailing 90% of my fantasy teams? Why you did?
Yeah, I had quite a bit of Tolbert in rookie drafts, not a huge amount, but I had enough, and it hurt me. He didn't do any. He didn't even give you a glimpse.
He was atrocious. You know? And let me tell you how bad he had to have been. That team was desperately in need of another pass catcher, and he still couldn't get on the field. That's all I need to see. He's done. He's done.
Yeah.
There's no year 2 league. You heard it here first. He's done.
At least a guy like Sky Moore showed you some flashes at the end of the year in the playoffs. He's in a really advanced offense, so there's a possibility. You know, you could see a scenario there where he comes out of that and he breaks out. But with Tolbert, it's like literally nothing. Like nothing.
On a team that needed somebody.
Yes,
that's what kills you. It's not like he was buried on the depth chart and just couldn't get on the field.
Agreed.
And I think the thing with Sky Moore, early in the season, they were using him on special teams, and he fumbled a couple punts. And I think, you know, that potentially might have hurt him as far as maybe getting on the field a little bit early.
Well, as the coach, it makes you nervous. You know what I mean? You got
but in the Super Bowl, you saw him go to him when it mattered. You know, I don't know if it was a screen or an end around or something.
Wheeler's picking up all my values, man. Claypool right now for me is, we were talking about this in my Sharps. Dan brings me all of these Sharps DMs, and that we were having this conversation. He's going way too late right now. He's going way too late.
Like,
dude, they spent a second round on him. You see what he did in Pittsburgh? Wait, give him this offseason with Fields, complimenting guys like DJ Moore.
There's a legitimate shot that he is the number 3 wide receiver on that offense, and I just don't think it's a high power.
Yeah, but dude, he's going wide receiver 73.
Yeah, no, I get it. You got nothing to lose for sure.
Yeah.
I don't like the pick.
I like it.
I made it. I don't like. I'm sitting here like, I should not have clicked that.
I like it.
You know what that means, though? Claypool wide receiver 1 season is coming.
I hope not.
What I was saying to the guys is he has to perform this year. Like, he has to. He gave you that 1 season in Pittsburgh. He got shipped to Chicago for a second. It was a second, right? I keep saying that, and I'm like,
201. Well, ended up being 201,
right? So just like the move for DJ Moore, you got to think they're gonna like pepper these guys, especially Claypool's like a red zone guy. He can definitely be a high touchdown guy. Yep. I think this offense is going to be a lot of fun. And I mean, like we said, wide receiver 73, Tim Patrick's another guy I really like late. He's another guy you could have picked up for your Russell.
Oh, that's. Yeah, I need to.
I've been grabbing Patrick almost every draft because he's.
Can we talk about Hunter Henry too? I know your boy Shelly.
He's Andrew's like rolling.
But, dude, like I know last year kind of sucked, but prior to that, he was a top 12 tight end. Tight end 27. I mean, that guy could literally smash that 15 spots. I feel like, man. And John was getting released, and they got an.
Yeah, but here's the thing, like, if he smashes tight end 27, Hunter Henry's highest expectation is tight end 15.
I don't know, man.
Tight end 12. Like he's not
about to pick. I'm gonna pull up his
I just don't think there's upside with Hunter Henry. I could be wrong.
It's not
like
sexy. Like I'll give you that. Like it's not sexy, but like he gets the job done. I feel like.
And Tim Patrick, I should have been all over. I just took Brissett because I felt like I needed a third quarterback, and I feel like he will start some game somewhere. But I really should have waited. I didn't like this turn for me at all. I definitely would have gone Tim Patrick. Didn't even see him for some reason. There's actually a rookie here that I am shooting myself in the foot for not getting.
Wheeler in PPR.
Yeah.
So this is not tight end premium. This is straight PPR. In 2017, he was tight end 15. 2019, tight end 9. 2020, tight end 13. 2021, tight end 10. And in last
Okay, maybe this is more my point.
Under,
what is the difference between scoring between tight end 27 and tight end
no, I
12?
Get that. But like,
I think that's more my point. Is yes, he is. He's a value at that pick, but I would not expect anything more than tight end 12, 13.
Yeah, that's
right.
Yeah, but like I don't know, man. Like that to me is where Gesicki or Okonkwo just got drafted. So like
I feel I see two other tight ends I'd rather have.
Yeah, I've got one lined up, but
Still.
I have a feeling he's going before I get him, so I'm gonna go a different spot. But this range here is like you want to hit on these tight ends and tight end premium. That's really what's going to give you a boost in especially these tournaments. Like if you stack them properly or you get them in the right build, if you hit on one of these late tight ends, man, that's money.
Yeah, but I have a few tight ends in my queue that if they do come back,
there goes Darnell Washington. Guys, if you want to hear about Darnell Washington, go check out, like I said, this week we had Andrew Cooper talking all tight ends. He's the tight end guru. Even our own Dan Williamson, man, at Overhyped Sleeper, no E on the end, is a big tight end guy. He's got some deep knowledge on it. And Darnell Washington, just a beast. You know what I mean? Like 6'7", he's like 265 or something. He's just a beast.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
Yes, I think in Dynasty.
You took one.
Yes, I figured I was hoping to snipe JD because he got me a couple times
nice
today.
So both of you guys took the guys I was shooting myself for not drafting at that turn. Like I'm looking at Claypool and Brissett. Like, no, I should have gone with those two rookies, Brown and Mims.
Between my receivers.
Well,
right there.
how about Curtis Samuel, dude? I mean, I talk about it every time I'm on.
I love that value. Come on, baby. I got him in the 17th.
Dude,
yeah.
I almost
wide receiver 80. Wide receiver 78, sorry.
Yeah, dude, he is a absolute steal. Again, but like the problem, like he's not sexy, right? So in tournaments, it's like, oh, we don't want it. We want to get Marvin Mims, but dude, Curtis Samuel's going to produce as long as he's healthy because he's done it every year that he's been healthy, and he's done it with multiple teams and multiple quarterbacks. And yeah, I mean, he's just I'm a big Samuel. All
right, I'm gonna take Aaron Rodgers as next tight end. I'm gonna go.
That's it.
I've already got Garrett Wilson.
That's it.
That's who I thought Eric would
that's
go.
it.
But I gotta take Tyler Conklin.
That's it.
Yeah, that's the steal right there. Tight end 32. It's unbelievable.
That's it. That's who. I thought you were going there, Eric. And I was keeping my mouth shut just in case you didn't see him.
No,
but, buddy, you're drafting with snipers here, man.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Tight end. If I take one kind of early, which I consider Dolchich for me early, I usually punt them. So I have a lot of Conklin in the 28 rounders. He was not in my queue, but it was a hell of a pick. I give him that.
Yeah, I like that. Like I like Conklin. Probably equal with the Everett Higbee. Like that's where I think Conklin should actually be.
Which is like 4 or 5 rounds earlier.
Right. Yeah.
So guys, keep notes of these. These are really good guys for you guys, for those listening who are just maybe starting with best ball or just getting into these FFPC best ball drafts. Like, don't panic, man. And that's why I'm saying if you miss on a position, you see a run on position, don't panic, especially the more complex the leagues are, the more, like if it's super flex as opposed to 1 QB, if it's tight end premium versus 1 tight end, there's more layers involved. So there's more intricacies. the value is going to drop, man. You're going to find value in these spots. So don't chase positions, man. That's my one suggestion with a lot of these builds. I see a lot of guys chase position, like they miss on the top tier QBs, and then they start taking like, I don't even know who's around the Burrow Fields, around that area range that shouldn't be. That's maybe not in that tier.
What's that? Burrow and Fields?
Like a Goff, right? Like maybe you take Goff like way too early because you're like, oh wow, the QBs are going off early.
Or Kirk Cousins, like I did last time. That was way too early.
Right? There's guys like Trey Lance. There's guys like Jordan Love later on. There's the rookie quarterbacks. Guys, you don't have to chase the positions. If anything, I go the other way and I'll make a strength even stronger. And I feel like that's where you really build your rosters at an advantage.
So I forgot I had Josh Allen, so
yeah,
I needed to stack him with something.
Like that.
I totally just dismissed it, not even thinking about stacking him. Like I should have gotten Knox much earlier too.
Tupac right there, baby.
I did. That's kind of why I got Gallup for Dak Wheeler. That's exactly why I was
well, that's Gallup is the easiest way to stack Dak, unless 20th round you want to give another shot.
You're not getting sniped on Gallup, right?
Right. So. He's just falling, and I don't think he should.
I think OBJ is the best way, in my opinion. I think
could be.
Going to death.
Could be. He's looking for 20 million though, and
supposedly
dude, that's ridiculous.
Supposedly
it's insane.
Supposedly he's got the same speed, but just that he's jacked. That's what I'm hearing right now.
OBJ?
Yeah, supposedly he's jacked, man. He's put on a bunch of muscle, but he still has that speed. So you might have gotten a nice little pick in the 15th.
All right, OBJ wide receiver one season is
Too bad my soundboard died right
now.
Yeah, that's exactly. Trust me, that's why I've got these no cable, man. I gotta either upgrade the soundboard or play with some cables. But
you know what?
We had a little technical today.
I wish this was 28 rounds, man.
Love the Alberto. Love Alberto.
Yeah,
and the Brissett. I don't mind the Brissett.
He was in my queue.
Yeah, the Brissett, it's just too early. Like there were I would have rather had Mims or Brown over Brissett. And there's Tim Patrick I should have had over Claypool. Just missed him in my queue. But Brissett I do like, and the other plan was going to be to wait for Hooker in the last round just so I could joke about it. But there he goes in the 19th.
QB 37, man.
I mean, I don't think Hooker has any value this year, but
I think
don't let him fall. Don't let him fall in rookie drafts.
Yeah, he's one. I know you like him, and Dan's a big fan of Hooker, and I mean, it's kind of like you pass on Levis and you wait, right, to get Hooker later, maybe in the rookie draft.
Exactly.
All right, I got two guys I want here. I don't know if I can make it happen with both.
Irv Smith's the other tight end that was in my queue there. So it was Conklin, Alberto, and Irv Smith were those three guys that I was sitting there waiting on. I think all of them have the potential to be in that top 12 this year.
Could he
struggling?
Come back to me?
Too many choices.
It's like you think which one's going to come back to me, right? Which one has the higher chance of making it back to me? But I'm going to go. He's one of my favorite rookie receivers. I'm going to take him here. Rashee Rice. You talk about contested catches. This guy just looks like a beast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He looks like just put it in his range and he'll get it. And I love him as wide receiver 87th in the 19th round. I'll take the upside. I'll go with the receiver. He gives me. I just basically at this point I'm looking how many running backs do I have and how many receivers. I want a lot more receivers in this build, in this format, especially with the receivers filling in the flex spots.
So Rashee Rice, I have him ranked as. I moved him up. I might need to adjust this, but I have him pretty high. I have him right behind Zay Flowers at 11th overall in my rookie rankings.
That's pretty much where I have him, dude. I love Rashee Rice.
6'1", 204, 32.9% dominator, 9.65 RAS, 33% target share. College. Come on now, yeah.
I like him, Mims, and Flowers. Those are my three receivers that I really like. But Rice at his price, I'm hoping people don't catch up, before the rookie drafts pop, but. Well, I might
So
I might get my other guy. Let's see if he falls to me.
I think you're safe on Rice until the draft. Same with Mims is now on people's radar as well.
Yeah,
But,
I'm about to.
From the looks of this, if you can get him in 18, 19, yeah,
I really want to take a running back here, but if I don't win with the 6 I have, it's probably a wash anyway.
Yeah, I would think six is my cap on running backs in 20.
My wide receiver, who I think is going to absolutely smash, and that's Jonathan Mingo.
I've been hearing a lot about him. He wasn't even my radar.
Listen, Wheeler, if you want your mind blown, and I'm not comparing him to this guy, but he's the exact same size as AJ Brown and faster. And to me, in this draft where there's so many little wide receivers, your Josh Downs, Flowers, kind of the smaller type guys, slot guys, Mingo to me is one of the few that actually has the size to potentially be an alpha jump ball type wide receiver, and he's faster than AJ Brown. I like that, and if he lands the right,
that sounds delightful.
Guys, Michael Carter in the last round.
Oh,
yeah.
Michael Carter in the last round with Aaron Rodgers coming in New York and Breece Hall coming off of injury.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, but what did he do last year? Like last year, he got his Zonovan Knight, and
they're talking about signing Jamal Williams, which I don't know why, unless Breece Hall is more injured than what they're leading on. Why?
So,
Jamal Williams, Aaron Rodgers, and Hackett. I guess there's ties.
I didn't even think of that. All right, that's fine. My last pick. I'll survive.
But you're right.
But I mean, last pick, it's whatever. But I haven't been getting any Michael Carter at all, just because when he did have 2 years ago, he was fantastic. Last year, I was drafting the heck out of him, but he completely disappointed me last year. When he did get the opportunity, he really didn't do much with it.
I would be interested in Jamal Williams when you literally have Breece Hall, Carter's behind him, Zonovan Knight, Flash, and don't forget one of my favorite players, Ty Johnson. Now,
yes, that was it. That was the other thing. Ty Johnson got run.
Dwayne, I had lined up as well.
I have him now because Bradley was promoting him.
Yeah. So Ty Johnson?
No, Dwayne McBride.
I was going to say, don't get me excited.
Pat Crane's another guy that talks about Dwayne. We had Pat Crane on, and he brought up that.
Yeah, McBride. Yeah, McBride looks good, dude. College wise, when you miss tackles and all that, when you look at all those numbers, he's right near the top in almost all those categories. So yeah, he's interesting. Sure.
So 9T12 was asking which team are Wheeler. We'll go through our teams right now. Wheeler was picking from the 2 spot. I'll let him read off his first. I was drafting from the 10 spot, from the 8 spot, and then Eric was drafting from the 9 spot. So we'll start with Wheeler. Read off your team. Let the peeps know how you feel about it. And man, let's read off our teams and have a bit of a discussion here with the builds and what we ended up with.
So I was able to start at the 2 with Josh Allen. If I would have gone Patrick if Peanut Punch switched that up. And then second round I snagged Devontae Adams despite talking about him the whole round. And then Derrick Henry, talked with Eric, and he seems to be a value where I'm getting him, at this point in drafts. Even if he doesn't last the whole season, when he does play, he's top 5 running back every week.
And he might get traded, allegedly.
And he might get traded to a good team for sure. Oh yeah. Oh, that would make this team real nice if he got moved to Buffalo, stacking Allen and Henry.
I could actually see them making that move. That's not a bad call.
I could see that too.
Yeah, I could totally see that. It's kind of what they're missing,
Yeah, he actually matches James Cook.
Shares, though,
but I don't think it would destroy it.
I feel like they could play off each other.
Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
Lightning.
I don't think Henry gets 25 touches on Buffalo.
Right, because Hilliard produced a little bit when Henry was healthy. So yeah,
right. Then DK Metcalf, yeah, like, and I think we've talked about this before. The difference between him and Lockett shouldn't be that big.
Yeah.
But Metcalf is one of the few that are left that really has that wide receiver 1 overall potential, as far as I see. And then I went Russell Wilson just because the value after him at quarterback, I think, drops off. I reached a little bit for Jamison Williams. Williams is another guy that I think has wide receiver 1 overall potential. I went with Judy over a few other guys I like better just to stack with Russell Wilson. James Conner, I got at a value. Cole Kmet, I like the value, but I would switch that pick and go with Knox to stock with Josh Allen if I could do it again. I like Kmet better, but given the stack, I should have gone Knox there.
That tier is kind of flat, right? So you can kind of pick whoever fits your build, right?
Right. It's like, I think let's say all the way from Schultz, Engram, Firemouth, Waller, Njoku, Kmet, and Knox, I think that is one tier altogether.
Agreed. Agreed.
So I usually try to grab Kmet and Knox as my safety, but in this case, I should have flipped that just because of the Josh Allen in the first. Yeah, and then I went with 2 running backs I like a lot. Rookie Zach Charbonnet. John Lobb is all over him, and as soon as he was over him, I started looking at him, and I think Charbonnet is now pretty much the consensus running back 3 in this class since the combine.
From what I've seen.
If not the 3, the 4. He's I think in everybody's top 5 for rookies. And then Gainwell, I think, is a huge value.
Love that. I had him queued up there. Yeah, I love that pick.
Whether or not they bring Miles Sanders back, Gainwell has shown that he's probably equal in my eyes anyway to Sanders. So at worst, he's splitting touches with him again. Or if they let go of Sanders, they'll probably have somebody else in there. Gainwell isn't going to get 25 touches a game, but he doesn't need them. If he gets 15,
you don't want him
he gets
right?
He gets the right touch. He gets the goal line and he can catch passes.
Exactly.
Like the money. And I believe he's the one in the 2-minute drill. That's huge. That's something that everybody should be paying attention to, is that 2-minute drill, because that's where most fantasy opportunity really happens. And then Taysom Hill that
used to smash in a 2-minute drill.
Yeah.
Gotta mention Danny Woodhead.
Say again. I missed
Eric,
that.
you're come closer to the speaker, brother. We can't hear you.
Sorry, I said I always gotta mention Danny Woodhead. Sorry about that.
For Gainwell, you think that's Woodhead?
No, I'm saying when you mentioned the 2-minute drill, I said.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Danny Woodhead used to smash. In the
Smash,
2-minute drill.
yes.
He's the OG of the 2 minutes.
For sure.
So yeah.
And then to finish out, Taysom Hill, that was a reach, and I would have rather had Juwan Johnson straight up there, but in a tournament, if he stays tight end eligible, Taysom Hill represents nice upside if Derek Carr goes down, or if they decide, if New Orleans is actually decent, those last few games, they might need an extra punch. So Taysom Hill, he can serve as a goal line back. There's a lot of utility there. So in a tournament style, I do have him ranked higher, but I probably could have waited on him. I could have probably maybe waited a little bit on Sky Moore, but I'm reaching for upside there. Alec Pierce, I see as a value. Roshan, compared to where I saw him drafted last week, seems like a value there. Rookie pick. And then Claypool, Brissett, we talked about. I was kind of disappointed with that turn. But then I went for the stack with my quarterbacks with Khalil Shakir and Albert O, feeling good about them, and finished out with Dwayne McBride, another rookie running back. Yeah. So all around content.
That's like a good point you say there with Albert O, and like sometimes taking the easy out in these late rounds and just complementing what you've already built. I feel like people like try to outthink themselves, like, oh, who am I getting at? You're not trying to build value or gain value in these late rounds. You're trying to complement what you've already started building, and that's what you did there with Shakir and Alberto, and I love complimenting. And then you go with the upside running back. So I think that's an easy, when you're trying to make decisions, you know, towards the end of the draft, just keep it simple, guys. Make it fit well with your build.
That's what I didn't do in the 16th and 17th round, and that's why I was like, that's my weak spot in this draft,
right? Because then no matter who you
Tim Patrick was a much better pick there, and one of the rookies would have been a great pick there. Like, I messed that up.
Either way, it's a lottery pick when you get this deep. So if you make it match your roster, or especially
you're telling the story.
Exactly. See, Kev, exactly it. You're telling the story, and like Josh Larkey showed us, it pays off to stack. So if you're making decisions, guys, sometimes it's easier than you think. Eric, I'll let you go first. You're right after me in the 9th spot. Why don't you read off your team and let us know how you feel about it?
Yeah, from the 9th spot, we started off with Trevor Lawrence, went over him, over Lamar Jackson, which could bite me in the butt. But I feel like even if Lamar stayed in Baltimore with the new OC and stuff, Trevor Lawrence, something clicked last year. Their offense appears to be ascending. I feel like they're going to be better. So we went with Lawrence over Lamar. Then we came back with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. I was really hoping I could get Tua coming back to me in round 4, but it didn't pan out that way. So I ended up probably reached a little bit too much on Aaron Rodgers as quarterback 15, but I feel like if he does go to the Jets, there's probably a little room for growth there. So not the greatest pick, but definitely not the worst pick, especially in a super flex, being able to get 2 quarterbacks that you can kind of
you gotta think, Eric, that his like the more we are sure that he's going to New York, the more you gotta think his ADP goes up, right? So I don't know that it's that much of a reach. I mean, you're talking about versus Geno Smith.
I mean, I think once he signs in New York, like I think he's gonna jump Daniel Jones. I think he'll jump Kirk Cousins. You know, I think
he's gonna be in that range. He's gonna be in that range with Watson, probably with Watson.
I think he'd jump that, to be honest.
Well, I think he's in that tier. I think it brings him into that tier with Prescott, Watson.
For sure. So round 4, we got our second quarterback with Aaron Rodgers. Round 5, I kind of swung for the fence here. Took Jahmyr Gibbs over some proven running backs. I was kind of swinging for the fence. Hopefully that'll hit. Then we came back with Christian Watson and Christian Kirk, 2 wide receivers that I like. I think Watson has a lot more upside than Kirk, but I think Kirk, kind of similar to what JD will talk about with Brandon Ayuk, is they got really nice floors. Like they're almost never a 0. And then they give you spike weeks. So even if your wide receivers don't hit for the week, you're still getting something from these guys. So I do think Kirk's a good balance when you have a lot of variance in wide receivers. And then we came back with our second running back in round 8 with Cam Akers. Not the biggest fan of Cam Akers, but right now I will be rooting for the Rams to be adding a lot of competition to the running back room. If it stays the way it is now, there's no question he's
look good at the end of the year. And you got to think with the iffiness with Stafford or whoever's in at quarterback, even if it's Baker, right? You got to think they lean a bit on Akers with what he's shown if he's still in.
For sure. I mean, their offensive line is in complete shambles, so that definitely hurts. So I feel like, if it stays that way, if there is questions with Stafford, he's probably going to have to get involved in the passing game in order to probably hit his true ceiling. But I think anything is possible. And again, with Sean McVay there, that's kind of what you're buying into. I don't really care about the players so much. It's Sean McVay's not an idiot. He knows how to scheme. If he's good enough to get on the field, McVay's going to find a way for you to be useful. I mean, that's my mindset. So then we came back with Traylon Burks, who I think is doesn't play on the greatest offense, but clear path to being 150 plus target guy, I feel like. And there's not much other than Chico Conquo in Tennessee to challenge him. And I think he would have exploded last year had he not gotten hurt on that catch in the end zone when he caught that long bomb and his head flew off almost, which was very unfortunate.
And you got to mention that you were trying to stack, right? To do a round 10, 11 stack, which would have been beautiful.
Absolutely. So in round 9 is where I took Burks, and I was
9 and 10.
I could get my third quarterback in round 10, which would have been Tannehill, which would have given me kind of that backdoor stack and a pretty good one in my opinion. But again, got sniped. Tannehill went, no problem. So then I took my first tight end around 10, Greg Dulcich. I have a lot of shares of him. I think it's realistically, I think it's going to be him or Albert O that is second, that leads that team, in targets behind Jerry Jeudy. I don't think that's out of the stretch. Tim Patrick's okay. Hamler can't stay on the field, and Cortland Sutton at this point is kind of just a guy. And I think we saw Greg Dulcich as a rookie who was injured to start the year come in, and it looked like he was a veteran. I mean, he just picked up and was crushing. So I'm pretty happy with that pick. Then we came back. We had some serious running back problems in my eyes. So we came back with Jamal Williams and Devin Achane, French version of it, here in round 12.
A-Chain.
Yeah, A-Chain. There we go. Proper pronunciation here. Round 13, I finally was able to get a small stack with I took Zay Jones, so that kind of matched up with Trevor Lawrence. That may hit for me, 2 to 4 weeks throughout the year. Got my second tight end in Gerald Everett, tied to a good offense, had a pretty good year last year, so hopefully that'll continue. And we came back with OBJ, just hoping that he goes somewhere good. I think he's in kind of a Leonard Fournette situation where, he's not going to go to a rebuilding team. So I do think if he does come back and he does play, he's going to want to go to a team that he believes has Super Bowl aspirations. So, if what you're saying is true, JD, where he's packed on all this muscle, man, I'm all for it. If he can come back and be a rock solid wide receiver 3, he's going to smash his ADP. Then we came back with, you guys are going to have to help me with this pronunciation, Israel A. I'll call him IA, round 16.
Kanda.
I like it.
I haven't drafted him because I can't pronounce it.
Yeah, but dude, he looks good. And I wasn't on him at first, but Dan really likes him. So I started looking at him a little bit more. He was, I think it's him along with every rookie, even including, Akanye and Spears and even Charbonnet, all those guys, it's all going to depend on landing spot. I think some of these guys, could very easily get buried, just like.
But as your RB 4 and 5 and 6,
yep.
you want to take cracks on these rookies, man.
I think I actually took him 2 weeks ago in the draft we did.
Okay.
And yeah, I think I got him in the last round.
Yeah, I think you did
in that draft.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was either him or another name I couldn't pronounce. And I can't find that other name, so I think it's him.
Yeah, I mean, he's interesting, right? If he lands in a good spot, anything's possible. And, I compare a lot of these rookie running backs to Jerome Ford, who was my round 17 pick, because a lot of people loved Ford coming out last year. He was at Alabama for a couple of years, transferred out just because he couldn't get on the field. They had so many running backs in Alabama, it wasn't a talent issue. He just couldn't get on the field, transferred out, has a good year, gets drafted, and goes to Cleveland, where he's behind Nick Chubb, behind Kareem Hunt, and he had to deal with Ernest Johnson. So that's going to happen to some of these rookie running backs that we like, I feel like.
And Ford is guaranteed a roster spot because he's special teams. With Hunt most likely gone, and what was the other name?
They already said Ernest isn't coming back either. So
Ernest was he barely played at all. He was a healthy scratch for most games.
Yeah, so, he was a guy I loved getting laid in drafts last year, and he just gave nothing.
Right.
Well,
nothing.
yeah, but that's because I think we were taking him with the expectation
of Hunt gone.
Right, the expectation of either Hunt or Chubb missing time, and that didn't happen, which is good for them. But even though Kareem Hunt he didn't look very good last year. So in this year going in now with Jerome Ford there, and Dearness Johnson's not coming back. Allegedly, the head coach and OC or whatever kind of talked him up a little bit. I don't think they're going to go into the season with Nick Chubb, Jerome Ford, and
they got to add someone, especially with the depth of this running back class, right?
Yeah, somebody's going to come in, but I feel like if Ford is any good, as long as they don't invest a top 2 pick in like Gibbs or Bjorn Robinson, Ford's going to have a chance to compete and at least earn the job. If he's not good enough to get that number 2 role, then he's not good enough. But at this point in time, he does have that chance. So I definitely think he's an interesting flyer. And then the last 3 picks of the draft were just you know, throwing some darts and hoping you hit with Marvin Mims, Luke Musgrave at the tight end position, and Jonathan Mingo, who, you know, I could be way off on this guy, but again, when I look at the wide receivers like Downs and Flowers and you know, Addison, you know, these are smaller type wide receivers. Where Mingo, and he went to Ole Miss, by the way, too, Wheeler. I didn't even mention that. So not only is he the same size as AJ Brown and DK, he went to the same school, and he's faster than AJ Brown, and he went to the same school as Elijah Moore. I mean, so they are kind of like your wide receiver factory, so to speak. And you know, I think it'll be 100% landing spot dependent. You know, if he ends up on Cincinnati in round 4, you probably won't hear from him this year at all. But if he's able to go to a team that doesn't have that clear cut alpha jump ball type, go get it, game breaker type wide receiver, I think there's a chance he could definitely make a difference. So I've been up on him.
So that Mingo pick right now, Fantasy Pros doesn't even have him in the rookie pool, but
Wow.
in the past 12 hours, past 2 days, let's say Jake Anderson, Billy Muzio, and Angelo FF have all talked them up. So like, and those are pretty big names. Like those are names I follow and trust. So and with his RAS is 9.89. Like he's somebody that's off the radar. That we should be on the radar.
Really? So if you go to Player Profiler, right? Like this is what's crazy, and you type in his name. I'm typing it in so I can get the actual terminology. Bingo. Like they have this new thing. I've never seen it before. It must be new, but they have these like rankings at the bottom of their screen, or like for their draft class or whatever. I don't know what. Here it is. So the athleticism. So they got him, according to, you know, Player Profiler, wide receiver position for the 2023. His class rank is number 2. His all-time rank at the wide receiver position out of 100 or 1,078 is number 19. And his all-time position, so all positions included, again, this is coming from Player Profiler, is ranked 947 out of over 5,500 teams. And not a lot of people are on him right now. His closest comparable, I guess, is Alan Lazard. But if you remember, Alan Lazard was highly regarded for a couple of years when he was with Miami, just never really panned out. So, I mean, who knows? At 6'1", 226 with a 4.47 40. You know.
Yeah. So, I would tend to bet the only reason we haven't really heard too much about him and he's flying under the radar is that he had a late breakout age, but that can be clearly attributed to Ole Miss. Like they just have Ole Miss gets the athletes.
And it's like, so remember Penn State for a while was like the wide receiver factory with Godwin and Larry Fitzgerald, or no, he went to Pittsburgh, but they had a bunch of guys before and after Godwin, but like Ole Miss is starting to produce these guys. And you know, it's something to pay attention to. We'll see. Yeah. For my team, I hope he smashes. So I'm going to need him. I only got 2 quarterbacks. Running backs are a little sketchy, so we definitely need some help. And I'm calling on Mr. Mingo to help us out.
All right, Mingo, Mango, Bango, Bingo. I'm gonna read you guys the winning roster. Dude, I told you, my soundboard died right before we came live, so I got to work on getting the technicals back up. But let me read you from the 8 spot what I did, and then we'll. Famous Jay is asking a great question that we'll get to as soon as I'm done with my roster build. So I'm in the 8 spot. It's super flex, tight end preem. I started off with Travis Kelce, which is actually a first for me in this type of tournament. Dak Prescott coming back in the second. Went Garrett Wilson, Devontae Smith as my first 2 receivers. Trey Lance as my QB2. Went DJ Moore, the newest addition to the Bears, as my wide receiver 3. Jordan Love, I just love, excuse the pun, as my QB3 in the 7th round as the QB24. I went Brandon Ayuk to stack with Trey Lance. A.J. Dillon, Khalil Herbert, Antonio Gibson, and Elijah Mitchell were the 4 running backs that I took from round 9 to 13. And then in the middle of that, I took Mike Gesicki to pair with Kelsey. Hopefully he ends up in Dallas, and I've got him with Dak Prescott. KJ Osborne just re-signed with Minnesota. Took him as the wide receiver 61. Tyjae Spears, after Roshan Johnson, is one of my favorite top 5, 6-ish right now rookie running backs. Michael Gallup, Curtis Samuel are great values late right now as wide receiver 71 and 70 off the board. Tyler Conklin, going to be one of Aaron Rodgers' targets in the tight end position in the 18th round. And then Rashee Rice, one of my favorite receivers in this class, just a contested catch beast, and hopefully ends up in a good spot. And then I went Michael Carter with my little Jets stack. Hopefully he gives us a bounce back season.
JD, not only did you get Conklin in round 18, but to put that in perspective, it was the tight end 32 off the board. 32. So I mean, that's impressive.
And anyone who plays tight end preem knows how valuable he was last year. If you lost,
you know what? Wheeler brought this up. I probably, looking back at this, I could have saved my Musgrave pick and took another wide receiver, and I could have taken Conklin instead of Mims. So I would have had a Conklin Rodgers stack there, and he would have been my third tight end. Brought that up a little bit ago. Makes a lot of sense. And I figured you were kind of looking at Mims there, because I know you like him too. I don't know if you would have taken him or not, but Conklin at tight end 32 is crazy, man. He's going before that in the non-super flex. He's usually like tight end 21, 22. So for him to fall that far, that's insane.
So guys, we've done a couple of these live. We've from different spots, right? Because we've been all over the board, I think, so far, even in the shows that we've done, let alone the ones that we've done kind of in the back. I know Kev or Eric, you and I have done some slow drafts. Maybe we'll do some draft board reviews, maybe even with Dan, because I know Dan's in some of them with us. But we'll come back and we'll take a look at these. The whole point of these is to help you guys find, roster build, find some of these late round gems, play around with your roster builds. I know, let me come back to Famous Jay. He asked a great question in the chat. So is 3 QB, 6 running back, 8 receiver, and 3 tight end your recommended roster configuration? Maybe I'll start with Wheeler. Maybe give us your thoughts on like your favorite build. I know we've all kind of talked like we don't go in with like a set, this is how we're going to build the roster, but what's your kind of preferred when you look back on what you've built so far, how you end up maybe?
Yeah. So in a super flex, I definitely want a third quarterback. In fact, like I even went so far as taking Brissett in the 17th. I just feel more secure with it, even though Brissett may not enter my roster at all. I prefer that construction, and I kind of hedge towards that 3-6-8-3 build. Even in the 1 QB, unless it's like unless I get 2 early quarterbacks or even an early and a mid tight end. Like if I'm wasted or if I'm using higher draft picks on the positions, I'll fade them. But that 3-6-8-3 is in any 20 round draft is usually what I go into. My mindset is usually going in. Now, if I hit this last round and I saw some phenomenal value in the 20th round at a wide receiver, I would have skipped the 6th running back and shifted to a receiver. But usually I'm kind of hedging it. What can I get in that last round that is going to be of value to me, and how is that going to round me to a 3-6-8-3 build? It's just it's my comfort zone for the most part. I will deviate based on what else might be around, but yeah, that's generally the mindset I go into a draft with.
Eric, how about you? Do you defer? Do you have a preferred way? Do you kind of mix it up a lot? You do a lot of these 250-77 buy-in best ball.
I do. So yeah, I mean, like in a regular super flex, that's like a non-tournament. I definitely do try to get 3 quarterbacks. In this particular format, being that it's only 20 rounds, I think everybody would prefer a third quarterback. But in a tournament, if you can't get that third quarterback, like me, like I didn't get it. I didn't have the opportunity, or I had an opportunity to get him. I just passed on it, right? So I'm going with 2. And
unless Rodgers retires, like,
well, yeah, if Rodgers retires, this
it
team's
all
done.
depends on which guys you take. So because Rodgers is your QB2, like if Trey Lance is your QB2, I think you kind of have to take, in my opinion, like I'm more comfortable taking a flyer on a QB3 later on. Whereas if Rodgers, as long as he doesn't retire as your QB2 with Trevor Lawrence, you don't necessarily need that. It almost frees you a spot to add depth to another position.
100%. And I think, again, the format matters. So, like, if I'm in a 250 Superflex, that's a non-tournament, I'm absolutely going 3 quarterbacks. That just gives us the best chance to win. In these tournaments, I haven't ran all the numbers to find out what's the best win percentage and what's the best round to take a quarterback in and any of that stuff. I'm kind of just drafting based off my experience and what I see other experienced drafters doing. So, like, I definitely, if in 3 quarterbacks, the way I look at it, in 20 rounds, so like Team 7, for example, he's got 3 quarterbacks, and he took 3 in the first 4. So what that tells me is he's got one player no matter what happens, he's got one player in the first 4 rounds that's never hitting his lineup. And I think, I'm not saying that he can't win that way or that's a bad team at all. That's a strategy I don't like doing. So, like, if I were to go a third quarterback, I would try to get like a JD did, and maybe in round 7 where it's a Jordan Love.
It's a flyer.
A flyer, not even a flyer. Round 10, Ryan Tannehill, who I really, really wanted, is an absolute freaking steal. And I can make it that he's the biggest steal at the quarterback position right now. Mac Jones is getting drafted ahead of Ryan Tannehill, and it's just it's crazy. It just depends. Like, when I knew I missed out on Ryan Tannehill in round 10, I made that decision. I wasn't going a third quarterback. And at that point, it's like, try to get upside players, upside running backs, upside wide receivers, upside tight ends, and just hope for the best. Instead of wasting a pick on a guy that might start, might not start. Like, give me the Jonathan Mingos, the Marvin Mims. There's plenty of, like, Jermichael Hasty didn't get drafted in this draft. I would rather take him than like a hooker that has a really good chance of not even playing this year. Or even a Kyle Trask, who Tampa Bay's talking about signing Baker. Baker's not great, but he's going to beat out Kyle Trask. So, like, I'd rather take, Hasty, Mims, Mingo, Tyler Scott, Trey Palmer, Slayton, Van Jefferson, and so many other guys, knowing that I'm going to get 4 to 5 spike weeks out of these guys instead of having that third quarterback that's just pretty much going to give me a 0. It's kind of how I view it.
I totally agree. Like, Tannehill is that cutoff, right? Like, I was talking about the possibility of Ritter as my third QB, but passed on him because we don't know. The rumors are, like, people are talking to Lamar, and if they're talking Lamar, they could be talking to anybody. Tannehill is that guy that's kind of the last, not sure thing, but like last solid bet to give you points at that tight end. Yeah. So if you can get Tannehill as your third quarterback in the 10th, that's the smart move. The only reason why I think there's 2 guys beyond that really, maybe 3, that really kind of have that late value, and the one that went in the last round, Tyler Huntley.
I was just gonna say that. Yep, I agree with you.
Like, that's so there are only a few guys that you really want to target as that third quarterback. And like, if I let Brissett go maybe 2 more rounds, he's the other guy that, like, if he ends up anywhere, there's a good chance he's going to be, like, don't be surprised if he ends up in Miami and Tua is knocked out for 6 games, right? Like, there's a history there.
Somebody's going to go to Arizona.
Or Tampa Bay. Like, he could end up starting in Tampa Bay, like, or Atlanta, and Ridder's on a short. Like, there's a lot of places Brissett could go. Brissett is 100% a backup quarterback, but he's a valued backup quarterback. Teams will feel comfortable with him in that starting role if they need him. So he's going to end up somewhere. Yeah. And I think there's a possibility Winston went undrafted. So like if you want that 20th round guy that's just
go back to Tampa, dude. I know they're trying to tank for Caleb and all that shit, but like just go back to Tampa, man, and reunite.
How fun was he for Godwin and Evans, right?
God,
yeah. And now we can see. Like
he's got his vision fixed. Yep.
Nice. All right, boys, we're 2 hours plus on this bad boy. It's a Sunday afternoon. We appreciate
March Madness Selection Sunday, 2 hours, baby. Let's go.
Appreciate you guys hanging out with us in the chat. You guys are always awesome. Peanut Punch, we're gonna have to get you on a show. You're in our drafts anyways. You might as well jump on the screen with us and chat a little best ball. Eric Wheeler, this was a blast, guys. I love hanging out with you guys. I love drafting these with you guys.
Let me shout out.
Parting words and maybe your little quick tip on these best balls as you guys accumulate your rosters as we move into the off season. I'll go to Wheeler first, and then we'll give it to Eric before we close it.
Definitely got to shout out 33rd team. I should have something up there as far as rankings soon, but they've got it all. Whatever you need, go to 33rdteam.com. And I also want to shout out my cousin's website. If you like doing the NFL mock drafts, go to my cousin's website, the Draft Zone. I used to have my rankings there. But he has a whole, one of those apps you could do the mock draft for any team. And I think you could do a completely full one. So if you're into doing the mock drafts, go see thedraftzone.com.
All right, there you go, guys. Follow Kevin Wheeler at FF_Wheeler at the 33rd team, one of the top rankers for the past decade. And Shiva, man, you hang with us in the low buy-ins, the 35s. We know you like to work 250s and the 77s. We appreciate you playing with us today. Drop your final thought. Give a good tip, man. You're a high stakes best ball guy. Give a good tip to our listeners before you close it out.
Yeah, man. I mean, this probably won't be the most analytical tip you ever hear, but I mean, have fun, man. I think that's the most important thing. If you're drafting quantities, which most of us are, especially if we're drafting this early, right? We're drafting 50 teams, 100 teams, 150 teams, whether they're on FFPC or Underdog or NFFC, whatever. And a lot of things get lost in the translation. Or you have to draft this guy or don't draft this guy, or it's too early for a rookie, or don't do that. At the end of the day, everybody's goal is to win. You want to try to do things the right way, give yourself the best chance to win. Follow some of the tools and databases that are out there. But at the end of the day, have fun, man. If there's a player that you like, that you want to root for, and other players are staying away from them, or they're telling you it's too early, man, you know what? They're not going to reimburse you money if they're wrong. And a lot of people are just as wrong as we are, if not more. So, draft your guys, man, have fun and just enjoy it, dude, because, I mean, we're able to draft fantasy now in March and February, days after the Super Bowl, which is absolutely incredible. So, like, don't pay attention to, oh, that's, 4 rounds too early for that. I would have never did that. I would have drafted this, knock all that off, because so much is going to change between now in September. And if you're right and these guys are wrong, they're not going to reimburse you your buy-in for them being wrong. So do it your way, man. Do your research and draft the guys that you want to draft. If you're wrong, 100%. You're wrong. You learn from it and you move on, and that's all you can do.
He's at Eric. He's Eric at the Shiva 82. He's a high stakes best ball drafter, guys, and I'm just going to piggyback on what he's saying. I think at the end of the season, the one regret fantasy players must have, because I know I do, it's when I don't follow my gut and I don't go with what I think. Look, it's March, right? You guys are watching us in March. So you obviously have the love of the game that we do, the passion, and you put in the time that we do. So gather your information and make your own opinions, your own projections, your own thoughts, your own picks. Like Eric said, maybe you're taking a guy two rounds early, but maybe he's going to be going 2 rounds even earlier than that, later on this offseason, because everyone else is catching up. So get ahead of the game, gather your information, make your own projections, your own thoughts, and follow your own gut, man, because that's the way you are going to have fun. And at the end of the day, guys, this is all about fun. We talk about the trades we make, the picks we make, the rosters we build. If it's not fun, what's the point, right? So make sure you guys are having fun. Make sure you're doing it. We have a lot of fun at the FFPC, guys.
And listen to the Dope District.
And listen to the Goat District.
Of
We got
course.
you guys covered all off season, whether it's Dynasty, Redraft, Best Ball,
Like and subscribe.
myffpc.com. Go right now. Use the code GOAT. If you're not already signed up, guys, we got a link in the bottom. Use the code GOAT. Like I said earlier, you get a $25 credit. You can use that toward a $35 buy-in or up. So if you go into like the tournament we just played today for $5,000, it's a 35 entry. You're literally paying $10 out of your pocket to get into this tournament. So take advantage of it. Use the code GOAT. Use the link below. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us on a Sunday afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll check you all later.
Go District. Bleed, I ball. Bleed, I ball. Bleed, I ball. Bleed, bleed, ball, and I bleed, I ball. Bleed, I ball. Bleed, I ball, cause I bleed, bleed, bleed. Hey, bleeding, I ball. Defeated the odds, didn't see him at all. JD in the pods, I needed it all. I bleeded a lie, you bleeded a lie, not bleeded a lie. And that's what I go do. Facts, let me show you. Happen to know dudes. Drafting, they don't do bad and they don't lose. Make you wanna bleed, bleed, bleed. It's the Goat District, boys giving you the business and no gimmicks. The best ball drafts got me feeling like it's Christmas. Then it's Christmas all of a sudden, and these riches came from nothing. And I got this all from loving the district. See, I just drafted, forget it. I laughed at the critics, they mad at the digits. I clap back by listening. See, BALLiN ain't a problem if you kick it with them off. And I refresh the feed till autumn, then I bleed, 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 go.